3 Siobhan is going to lead, and that's going to just be an editing review, the consistency in episodes, and then we're going to rank it out of 10. And then we're going to do a big series around this as well. So we're excited to get into it for you. And first off, we're going to go on to...
Sweet.
So this is an impressive YouTube, and I'm going to run through all. So first off, you've got the consistency. That's the first thing that stands out to me. What kind of stands out to you with this?
Immediately, man. You know, it's very clean page. The colors and the branding is all just very like unilateral. It's very fluid, very consistent. You can see from his thumbnails that Chris really has like a clean typeface that's in line with the brand. And because he's doing a podcast, you know, the podcast is all about bringing guests on as opposed to, you know, the host just showing themselves off. So you can see in all of the thumbnails that these are all the guests just offering value, right? And then when we look at the titles, they're very clear cut, very informative and straight to the point. So immediately it gives you like everything you need to know about, okay, this is what I'm going to click on and this is what I'm going to learn on. This is what I'm going to learn about if I click on this video.
It's just, I just think so clean because you know exactly what you're going to get. These are the full episodes, and then these are sort of the short snippets. You know, short snippets have the red box around them. Full episodes have the same branding every time, with that clear blue. All his stuff is like that. If you see his ads on Instagram, and I just think it's like when I see that, I immediately think of him. If you go to his oldest videos, which is like his first ever podcast, this is what I love as well. It's like this is the level it is now. Look at the production on all. Look at the cameras. God.
Yeah, man. That's.
And then look, this is episode 1 through to 100. I'm pretty sure he did like this. Just one camera, microphone in the middle. Very random. To be fair, he had some of the same branding. Like if you look over here from day one, which I quite like. But it's so clean now, and it's just really impressive. Consistency across all platforms. You go on Apple Podcasts, which is probably the biggest one, which you guys all watch podcasts on. 4.7 stars, 1.9K reviews. A lot of 1-star reviews, which I was shocked by.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Let's open these up. Let's have a look at what some people are saying.
How do I pull these up? Yeah. How do you do that on Apple Podcasts?
I actually don't know, man. I don't even use.
You got one here. Arrogance is most dangerous. Need I say more? Not only does he tell people how and who they should be, and if they aren't that way, then they just don't care as much about perfection as he does. He's close-minded, but he tells his guests off like little children. Be respectful, open-minded, and show some empathy. Completely disagree. So,
yeah,
completely disagree.
I've never heard Chris say
one of or the best guys that could
Yeah.
possibly lead an interview. And he's had people like Williamson, Jocko Willink, Huberman, Stephen Bartlett, James Clear. Gosh, what an absolute sick resume.
Unless this guy was commenting on a particular guest and he just forgot to mention the guest, because I can sort of see how, like with Jordan Peterson, he can give like very prescriptive advice, but it's like, again, even then, it's like, if anyone's watched any of Peterson's stuff, it's not without merit. Like there's a reason why, especially the male stuff, like the advice he gives to men, you know, he's basically just trying to get everyone to just get their asses in gear, man.
Agreed. Right, now we're going to check 589 million views. This is just on YouTube alone. 34 million in the last 5 days. I loved his post where he was like
winning.
Yeah, he did like 600 videos to get to this point, like full podcast, 2,500 videos in total just on YouTube. Thousands and thousands more alone, just on social media. So let's look through here. Let's run through
Dear Ruggable.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for your washable rugs.
Dope little advert.
What happened to you? Where did you
Anybody need washable rugs? There you go.
That looks
clean. Look at that setup, dude.
A Modern Wisdom cinema production.
You mean on the last like 4 things I flaked on, or for the last 2?
Okay, nice. So they take they're 95 out of 100, their ranks on vidIQ.
That's as good as it can
Which
get,
is
to be
pretty
fair.
much as good as it can get. Video
Yeah.
tags, he leads the majority of them. I think this is less important. This is TubeBuddy's one, but the SEO is different. I think this is the most important. You want the performance tags from what I'm
Yeah.
aware of, what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
SEO is a bit of a weird gray shade, I find personally. I don't fully like, I understand the crux of it. I don't fully understand it. It's like the other day, Tom, you looked at my channel, that last video I posted got like it's like 500 views and there was no SEO done in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think it is important though, that especially his performance tags is in
yeah.
terms of getting impressions. That's how it
Yeah,
gets out there more.
impressions of yeah.
Right, let's look at show notes. The show notes aren't very clean, but then I guess when you're someone like him, does it really matter at that point? It matters to me. I'm a bit OCD about it. Dan
Yeah.
Bilzerian is an entrepreneur and professional poker player. Okay, so a bit of a description with all the keywords in. Chapters, these are, oh, fuck's sake. Let's go back.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
Chapters, these are important. I think these are the most important things because you can pick which area you want to watch as well, especially in a podcast that long.
I'm just
Affiliate
loving the
links,
LEDs.
Drink AG1,
Yeah.
a bit about Dan
Alt
Bilzerian,
tags.
and then his personal stuff. I think show notes could be better personally, but then, I always read them, but I notice that stuff. To the normal person watching this, they might not even look at it. As long as it has the keywords in, which you can just use ChatGPT for, which kind of
Yeah.
into this over here. And the chapters in particular are so important. Right, now we'll go on to social media presence,
Look at that
which
purple,
is
bro.
massive. I think Chris Williamson um, does something quite unique. Is if you look on his Instagram, hopefully it doesn't make me, yeah, nice.
There we go.
He posts all his podcast clips
Yeah.
on his personal brand. There's no Modern Wisdom page, and I quite like that. But we have a separate page for obviously ours. Um,
I'm
but
a
I
big
think that's
fan
better.
of that.
People then follow him
Yeah.
for these clips as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if many people do that. I think Joe Rogan sometimes does something quite similar. If he posts stuff, he just puts it on his Instagram or wherever. Or his Chris Williams's TikTok is kind of the exact same.
Yeah.
Which I really like, rather than doing just a full
Separating
separate
stuff.
page. It's just all on one, all under his personal brand.
Yeah.
Same color. You've got the reading list, which I think is really important as well, because that gets people to sign up for his what's it called? Uh email list, which has like 100,000 people on. And that's one of the best ways to just constantly pepper out, have you bought these affiliate links? We've got a new episode coming out, which he releases pretty much every 2 days, from what I'm aware of, or every 3 days. And it's just, I think that's just such a good way. He probably took him 10 hours max to put that reading list together as well, if that, or just got someone on his team to do it.
Probably got someone on his team to do it now at this stage, but
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
a
social media presence is absolutely killing. I think we can
yeah.
both agree on that,
Yeah.
especially with his new brand, New Tonic as well. This guy must be making so much money from ad spends and affiliate links. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try one of
New
those drinks
Tonic
out.
branding.
Might get myself a can and do a review on it. Tag Chris. Maybe we can get him on the show.
Oh, mate, that would be pretty cool.
Imagine.
That'd be
That'd
pretty
be
cool.
sweet.
Right.
But
Now it's time to run through the editing. This is your gig. So
Bilzerian. There we go. The Dan Bilzerian video.
I need to get YouTube Premium.
Yeah, honestly, it's such a game changer. But yeah, so immediately we can see how the hook is very strong. Like so a lot of our videos are like heavily inspired by Chris's stuff, right? I'm a massive fan of like just cinematography and cinematic videography. And as you can see, this whole setup, the framing and everything here, this is what's called like a wide shot. the establishing shot, sorry. So the establishing shot started with Chris, asking a question to Dan, and there's a multicam setup here, right? So we've got a wide angle here. There's a camera that's got an angle on Chris, and there's a camera that's angled on Dan, and that helps kind of create more of an immersive like storytelling sequence. Whereas if say we go back to one of um his oldest videos, you can see it's just like a one-dimensional camera, and like, yeah, he's got this, to be fair, pretty cool like graphic to start it up, right?
Same
Like, what?
branding now as well, which I really like.
Yeah,
They've revamped it a little bit, but
100%. Oh god. Like, you can hear the reverb in the room. You've got like the Blue Yeti microphone with the two-way system there, and the like it's very like acoustic heavy, right? You've got the single sort of like camera angle where you can see like there's not that much cropping done. It's literally just to get subject and host in the frame, right? And there's nothing wrong with it, like when you're starting off, you just make do with what you've got. But in terms of the production value, like then versus now, I mean, everything is so much cleaner. Like everything is just so much more like well put together. Just going back to this Dan clip, now he's got like like an intro credit, right? Which is what you see very often with movies. Like that's something that you know I took inspiration from when we started to change things with our podcast. Let's just kind of like scroll along here, so you can see that. Oh wow! Like the quality of the cameras are amazing too. Like this lens here, like could easily be like I think like an F like 1.2, because you can see it's very buttery smooth and very, very, very very cropped in, right? The lighting is also incredible. And I think Chris has like multiple setups now, if I'm not mistaken, Tom. He's got the one in Texas.
he's all over. I think
Yeah,
they set up wherever.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he does now, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, he just kind of goes wherever, and then all this stuff here, you can see he's got like the Elgato boom arms. These are, I think, there's a Shure mics. You know, very high quality production has gone into this now. You've got the custom like lighting panels here, right? There's one here, there's one here. There's a little red what you call it, like a little red LED light strip that's been fixed to, I think that's a leg press over there. So this is clearly like, I think, Dan's gym, if I'm not mistaken. And Chris has just ported all his stuff around. So the production side of things is probably, in my opinion, one of the best in the game. Like I think it doesn't get much better than this.
Completely agree.
Yeah. What was that video? It was his own personal video where he used that CGI room. Do you remember that one, Tom? I think
Yeah,
you told me about it.
um,
Uh, it was somewhere.
that was insane.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was wild. If oh, man,
ago now. There's some
yeah,
videos of
it happened months ago, but yeah, like I'll try and find it and like post it in the group. But again, just coming back to the thing that earns a click is gonna be like 90% of the work is actually done here, right? In your thumbnails. So you can see that there's consistency in
thumbnail.
the colors.
So important.
100%. Thumbnails, titles, um, even the way that the thumbnail is framed. So again, he's heavily focused on his guests. He has his own like Q&A segments and things like that where he has himself in the thumbnail. And like you pointed out, Tom, he also differentiates between like a podcast clip and then full length podcast by this red box here. And the segment is just like, guest is speaking, a little bit of Chris's chat, and that's it. Very short, like 5 to 10 minute clips. And you can see like the retention rate is crazy. Like look at Hermosi.
It's so clean.
Yeah.
Shit looks good, doesn't it? That's the goal.
Yeah,
That's the goal one day. So
100%.
out of 10, what would you rank Chris Williamson's podcast?
In my opinion, because I've been watching this guy for years, I would say he is the industry standard. I personally think his stuff is 10 out of 10. Um, but then I will also say I do have a heavy bias because he ticks a lot of boxes that tick my like cool factor boxes. So for example, he's the only one that I've noticed who does like high level cinematic editing, right? Um, the production is through the roof. I think his flow is also very spot on in terms of the guests that he brings on too. These are also people I greatly admire. So this guy just is like an all-rounder, just like cool guy, cool factor, package. And the way that he emulates that in his podcast is very telling. So that's my personal opinion.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share my screen one last time. And I think this is so important as well. And people don't normally discuss this a lot, but the discoverability of modern wisdom, even from the get-go, is, look at this. Modern wisdom literally everywhere. And people are like, oh, it's not hard to do. It's hard to do. He is on every single search for like literally all these pages. He's got a perfect website, that's from episode 1 or whatever it was that goes out. Join his 80,000 people on his emailing list. He has articles which he puts out once a week. Like, it's just everything is so consistent and on brand. It is just incredible to watch from doing it ourselves and having my own production company, podcast production company, Shravan being the head of production. The consistency and having all the branding on point is like unbelievable amount of work
Yeah.
like that who haven't done it before.
It's mad.
It's
It's
so
absolute madness.
done. I'd give it 9.5 out of 10, arguably 10 out of 10. It's my favorite podcast to listen to. I think fantastic host. I think his branding perfect. I think the cinematography side of things is 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Episode, the best video podcasts around for sure. And yeah, I'd give it 9.5, coming on 9.75. Having a 10/10 podcast where I'm like in every aspect is hard, but he's probably the closest, in my opinion, that I'd say to that. And lastly, just before we finish here, if you want to join the podcast industry network, this is what we do all our stuff on. So all our calls, we've got some courses coming on there soon as well. So example, the call today is the free podcast audit on Chris Williamson's. We've got loads of calls, so we'll do one every other Monday, podcast audits most Sundays. And if you want to join, feel free. I'll put the link down below to the school community as well, and we'd love to have you involved. If you're looking to get into the podcast industry, you're already in it, you're a marketing expert, you're of short form reels, long form editing, whatever it is, all in the podcasting space, or just a host yourself, feel free to join. We look forward to seeing you inside. But for the meantime, I'm Tom.
I'm Shravan.
And this is Podcast Industry Network.
See you later, guys.